let's get into the next main topic. This is going to be our second to last main topic of the evening, and it's going to be the NWSL Draft. So the fifth main topic is the NWSL Draft. It was a momentous occasion. It was a ton of fun, guys. If you got the chance to watch it on Twitch, I congratulate you because one, you made it through. I believe the draft was almost 4 hours long. It started at 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't believe it got done till close to 11 p.m. Eastern, maybe even later, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm being honest, I did not stay up for the whole thing. I had to go to work the next morning, and I just wasn't about it. So, if you watched all 4 rounds, like I said, congrats to you. That's phenomenal. Some big highlights. Emily Fox went number one to Racing Louisville. She got that announcement as she was at United States Women's National Team camp with some of her teammates around her. I believe the previous two number one picks were sitting next to her, which I think was kind of funny because Sophia Smith was on her right, and I can't remember who was on her left, but I thought that was really, really cool. Some of the other first round picks, Trinity Rodman went number two to Washington Spirit. Brianna Pinto went number three to Sky Blue. And those are the top three picks. I think they're, of course, excellent, excellent picks. But congrats to all the players. My initial thoughts. Um, one of the most shocking things to me, as I adjust this microphone a little bit, about the draft was actually the fourth pick. The reason being is because Sky Blue was taking a really long time to do their fourth pick, and we're all wondering what the heck is taking them so long because they had the third and the fourth pick. And when you've got the first four picks in the draft, you more than likely have a blueprint laid out for who you're going to pick. So they're wondering what was going on. Well, they ended up making a trade, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that trade was with Kansas City. And what they got in this trade was Kansas City got the fourth pick in the draft, which I believe they used to pick up Kiki Pickett, which is a great trade. But Sky Blue received $175,000 in allocation money. Oh my God, that is a lot of money. $175,000, guys, in allocation money. That's more than half of what you can purchase from a league. Like that's huge. That is a lot of money. I give Sky Blue full marks on this because they turned that fourth pick on its head, and they made a ton of money off of it. It's just amazing to me that they got that big of a deal for the fourth pick in the draft. I By no means do I think the fourth pick overall in an NWSL draft is worth $175,000. To give you guys some context, I believe Kelly O'Hare and Kristen Press left Utah for 75,000, and they are bona fide international studs. So that really puzzled me that Kansas City was willing to give up $175,000 for the fourth pick until I went looking a little bit deeper into some context. And Jeff Kassouf from the Equalizer elaborated on Twitter saying that Kansas City inherited like $224,000 from the Utah Royals franchise now that they've dissolved and now that they are Kansas City. So, and then they're also getting access to another $400,000 next year too. So they had a lot of money to spare. 624K in allocation money is a lot, and for Kiki Pickett, they must have thought that she was worth it for the 175K. They probably thought we've got so much money, we might as well use it. So that's where it came out. So I mean, for both teams, at the end of the day, it's a win-win. I just think Kansas City could have given half of that and still gotten the fourth pick. So I mean, good for Sky Blue because they were floating in the money after that first round, and good on Kansas City because they got an excellent fourth pick. So that's just some initial thoughts on that. Another thing too is if you guys had the pleasure of watching and seeing all the war rooms that they were going around for each team, you will have noticed that in Sky Blue's war room, they had Meg Linehan's cardboard cutout in the background, which is just so wholesome, so wonderful. It was amazing. I'm like, wow, that's just cool. For those of you who don't know who Meg Linehan is, Meg Linehan, I would argue, is one of like three or four, maybe even one of two full-time women's soccer slash football journalists in the United States. So she covers the NWSL a lot, and so does Jeff Kassouf. Jeff Kassouf is part of the Equalizer group that I mentioned last week. But yeah, Meg Linehan covers the league a lot, and a lot of NWSL fans at least know of her. And I just thought it was really cool that the league is the Sky Blue organization obviously is so fond of her that they decided to put her cardboard cutout into the war room during the draft for all of us to see. So that was just kind of fun. I think it gave the NWSL draft overall, a really fun vibe. I certainly had a ton of fun watching it. I hope you guys did too. And speaking of energy and all that other stuff, I gotta give credit to Lisa Baird. From pick number one to the last pick, Lisa Baird's energy in announcing each and every pick was a 10 out of 10. Would recommend. She brought the heat the entire event, and I was just so impressed by her ability. She seems like she really believes in the league. She really loves her job, and as an NWSL fan, that's really, and as a women's soccer fan in general, that's really um, exciting because it gives you something to look forward to. That the league has got this spark, it's got its energy into it, and it's got a commissioner that believes in it and what it's trying to do. So good on Lisa Baird. I think she did an excellent job hosting her first draft as an NWSL commissioner. Correct me if I'm wrong in that this might be the second because I don't know if she did the 2020. Did they have a 2020 draft? I can't even remember, but good on her. Overall, I think Lisa Baird did a fantastic job. Of course, there were some awkward moments and moments of transition in there. This is probably the first time they've ever done something virtual to this scale before, so I mean, I could not have done it any better than they could have, but I just noticed that sometimes they'd fumble a little bit, and I'm like, ooh, but that's all right. All of us NWSL fans, we're here for a chill, good time. There's no judgment involved. We just have fun, and we all love this great game. Um, so after some of those positives, I will say I'll digress to some of the cons. That draft was long as hell. And I'm sorry, guys. I usually don't curse too much, but yeah, that draft was long as hell. It was so long. Let's put this into context. The expansion draft for Racing Louisville took 1 hour. It was almost too short. Like there was no time for anticipation or really excitement. As soon as you look down at your phone to check something between picks, the two picks have already gone by you. Like they did 14 picks in an hour for the expansion draft. It was insane. And for this draft, I think they had gotten a lot of that feedback, the NWSL, and they overcompensated. So I think they maybe made this too long. They gave 5 minutes for each pick, which is way too long. They gave teams timeouts, and they sure used them. They used them quite a bit because this puppy was long. And I think that if they're going to keep draft picks and letting teams pick for that long and also introducing timeouts, they either need to A, cut down on that time, or B, they need to separate these rounds into different days. If they go with option B and they separate in different days, I would do round one on day one, round two on day two, and then round three and four on day three or something like that. And if they decide to shorten the picks, obviously you can just do it all in one day. But wow, that was a long time. They'll get better at it as time goes on, of course. It's not like I minded it being that long because the beauty about watching it virtually is you can turn it off, turn it on whenever you want, and if you miss on any of the action, you can always look the next day online. So overall, I gotta say that the draft, I really enjoyed it and I had a great time watching it. I had a lot more fun with it than I ever thought I would, and it almost makes me feel guilty because I'm of the mindset that overall the NWSL draft shouldn't really be a thing. I do not think that for the promotion of the overarching game and to attract the top talent, I don't think that one player's rights, playing rights should be a thing, and I don't think draft should be a thing. I just think teams should have really the free reign to go out and sign any players across the world to any amount of money that the team can really afford. I think that that's how you get the best talent to your leagues, and I think that's how you get the best competition in the world. And I think by the NWSL keeping these drafts, it gives them some uniqueness, but it's also at a bigger cost than what it's worth. Having said that, what makes me feel really guilty about feeling that way is there's nothing more heartwarming and just wonderful than seeing the moments when these collegiate players or some of these even under 20s players like Trinity Rodman, with seeing their dreams come true, their lifelong dreams of sacrificing so many hours, the sacrifice that they've made, sacrifice their parents made to make it to a professional setting and get paid to play the game that they love. Their reactions and their interview, they're just so priceless. Seeing that moment with their families is just something that I obviously, as a fan, will never feel. But wow, just seeing them and like they're shedding tears, they're hugging their families, they're all so happy. It's just a phenomenal thing to see the reaction. And if there's no drafts, there's none of those moments. So there's that um with that in mind, I don't think the draft is going to go anywhere for a long, long time. So if you're a big fan of those moments like I am, it's good news. But at the end of the day, that's just kind of how I'm feeling about it. What are your guys' thoughts on the draft? I hope you had a ton of fun watching it. Jump down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. So with the NWSL draft thoughts down and out of the way, that is it for our fifth main topic. Let's get into our sixth main topic. Our